Hello, golfers. I'm Mike. Welcome to Mike Golf's Oregon. In this episode, I'm speaking with one half of the Fore Dads Golf podcast and YouTube channel, Teeds. And tonight we're going to talk about Teeds' journey from college baseball to YouTube golf and podcast, and maybe a little bit of fatherhood and some other detours thrown in as we go along, whatever pops up. So, Teeds, welcome. It's good to see you. A little unfortunate that we're here without your sidekick or your co-part, Don Julio,
Yeah.
but we'll soldier on, right?
Right. Yeah.
Good.
Thanks, Frank, for having me. Really excited to be on tonight and just talk golf and
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. Golf, life, baseball. But let's get
Yeah.
straight into it. I want to
Mhm.
start with your athletic background.
Mhm.
As someone who, sort of never really pursued athletics beyond high school, probably describes a lot of people other than recreationally. I'm really curious to hear about your baseball story, sort of your recruitment, your development, your journey through baseball leading to playing baseball at the collegiate level.
Yeah.
What went into that? What was that process like? Can you kind of take us along that journey?
Yeah. Definitely wasn't how do you say, like, the normal route, I would say. I played all sports growing up, baseball, football, basketball, roller hockey as well, a little bit of golf. But always worried that would mess up my swing even at a young age. And
Worried that
baseball
golf
was,
would mess up your baseball swing?
yeah, I wish. No, the other way around. Baseball, yeah, no, you're right. You're right. No, yeah, golf would mess up the baseball swing. That's
Okay.
right. And I didn't play as much golf compared to baseball. Baseball, I pretty much had played, since I was maybe like 5. I was like one of the only kids that at 5 didn't play t-ball. I actually just went straight into kid pitch.
Nice.
And I loved it. Had a great time. And I think it was like 8 years old, we joined a travel team and did that whole thing until I was probably like 15 with the same kids. Basically like the core of like 10 to 12 kids, like pretty much stayed on the same travel team. And like, to be honest, like I was definitely, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, I was definitely talented enough to be like one of the better kids on the team. But the accuracy with the pitchers, you'd always have the faster throwing pitchers, and they didn't have accuracy when they're 8, when they're 9, when they're 10. Getting hit when you're 8, when you're 9, when you're 10, you would be crying, and no one wants to see. You don't want to cry,
Yeah.
There's
There's no crying in baseball. There's no
it was,
crying in
and I
baseball.
was
Everybody knows that.
legitimately scared of getting hit, and that because of the inaccuracies of some of the pitchers, and constantly would be hitting at the tail end of the lineup. The only way I made it was because my defense. I had a good arm, and I played outfield, and that was the main reason why I sucked. High school came up, and I dominated. I had no issues with being scared about hitting because the accuracy was there. I didn't worry about that.
Yeah.
Hit pretty well in high school, but I'm only about 165, 6 foot, playing first base. Not really ideal for a first baseman.
No.
Couldn't gain weight to save my life. Had a lot of fun though. And when I was in a smallish town, San Luis Obispo had about like 45,000. I think our class was like 350, 400. So not crazy big, not crazy small,
Right.
but it is what it is. And I went into college, didn't really have any offers or anything. I mean, I didn't have any power. I didn't hit any home runs. I was just, singles, doubles kind of guy. And I wasn't fast either. So I wasn't like a great baseball player per se, but I could
the
get
triple
by with
threat.
what I had.
You're the
Exactly.
triple
I could
threat.
get by with what I had. But I had a good arm. And so, I tried to join my local, community college team, just to see, if I made it, great. They had been really, really good in the past, like 15, 20 years. They've had a really good, role of just making the playoffs and having good talent, throughout the years. And so I was like, well, it's a good program as well. Fortunately, it was in San Luis Obispo as well at Cuesta College. And I just tried. I'm like, if I don't make it, okay. I don't even know if I'm going to go to school. I just want to see if I can make the team. I didn't even try hitting because I just was like, there's no way. Like again, I'm not fast enough. Anything coming over like 88, 89, I was like, I'm not really used to that. But I tried pitching and I was like, let's try. I have an arm. Let's see where this can go. Had a great fall and ended up being the first guy out of the pen my freshman year and a starter first team all league or whatever my sophomore year.
Nice.
Which was like, I didn't see this coming, but it kind of benefited me because you play so many games in college.
Yeah.
Like 50, 40 games, I think, in like junior college, like 55, 60, like Division I or whatever. And that's a lot of games. Like
how was that transition because you go from high school where, if you go to the playoffs, maybe you're going to play 20, 25 games or something like that. Right. And then
I liked
suddenly
it.
you're doubling that sort of volume, especially as a pitcher.
Yeah, I liked it as a pitcher's standpoint, because especially my first year, like I didn't know when I was going to go in, so it was kind of like that excitement. You weren't going to go in. Some days you were, the other days. My sophomore year, and basically my sophomore, junior, senior year, I loved being a starter, where I could literally just be like, hey, that one day a week, I was just so excited to finally get to play. You know, I'm watching my team play the whole rest of the week, cheering them on. I remember my senior year, we faced Jonathan Gray from Oklahoma. He was pumping up like 100 miles an hour, and it was like awesome to watch from the sidelines, you know, not having to face it. But I had a fun little run there at Hofstra University in New York. It was really small.
So
world.
So you went from San Luis Obispo to Hofstra.
Hofstra, okay. Yeah. I don't think I had any really Division I offers besides that. My grades were horrid. It was basically baseball, have fun, and then school, you know, just pass so you're eligible, basically.
Sounds like every baseball player I knew in college.
Yeah, right. And it was a good time. Like, we did pretty well. It was fun. And one of my older teammates from Cuesta, he left a year before me. He played at Hofstra, and this guy, his name was Danny Poma. He was pretty cool. Like, we were pretty cool, good friends, and he didn't have a Division I offer or any Division I offer coming out of Cuesta. I think it was a redshirt sophomore. So he literally reached out to every single Division I coach via email, found all their email addresses, reached out to every single one, and Hofstra was the only one who reached out to him. Kind of like the Josh Allen kind of story, you know, where Wyoming was like the only one who gave him an offer. And so then he told them about me, and I had no idea, but my grandpa from San Luis Obispo, California, was born in Hempstead, New York, where Hofstra was. No idea that he was even from New York until I got off the phone, the first recruiting phone call, and my dad's like, "Oh yeah, that's where Grandpa's from."
Yeah.
I'm like, "What?" I didn't know he was from out of state. But it was really cool to go back there, see kind of where he lived, experience in New York. That was cool, fun experience. Miss the Italian food, miss the pizza, the hole in wall stuff was amazing. But the cold baseball was not fun at all. Oh my gosh, my senior year, it was like, it'd be warm. The warmest days was when it snowed. And as a pitcher trying to stay warm, that was not ideal. Fun experience, but yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, I had a lot of fun. I got to experience some stuff, and
you know, you started that with saying it wasn't the usual route, right? So what did you mean? Did you mean, what's the usual route? What did you mean by that's not the usual route?
Well, for me, I would say I never thought that I'd be a pitcher, for sure. Like, that's the main thing. Like, I was always a hitter. I was always someone who played in the field. And I guess like my last resort was really just pitching and trying it out, and it ended up working. I also wasn't the best person at, you know, taking care of my body. You know, I would have like one of my roommates could tell you this, my buddy LeBron's, he'd be like, dude, he would eat like 8 chocolate chip cookies fresh out of the oven and then just go through like 6 shutout innings. And it's like, if I do that now, I couldn't leave the house if I ate like 6 chocolate chip cookies, you know. My body just can't handle that. But back then it was amazing. And I just feel like that was the main thing, especially if you would know me younger, see me in travel baseball. I mean, like, watching a team, when sometimes you can watch, like, you know, Little League World Series, and you can be like, oh, that kid's going somewhere, you know, that kid, he's got it. I would be the last person on that team that you'd be like, oh, this kid's got a chance. Like, I think I was like one of 2 players that played Division I baseball. One of the other guys played actually at Mississippi State. But besides that, and he was actually one of the better ones that, like, you could kind of envision, okay, I could see this kid making it. But for me, you've been like, he's got a long shot. You know, I would not expect it. So in my opinion, that's the route that I was thinking. And also, I probably wouldn't have kept playing baseball if I didn't have a scholarship to, you know, keep me alive. Just because I didn't want to take out loans. I was like, if I have to take out loans, I'm out. Like, I'm sorry.
nice way to pay for school. Here's the extent of my baseball experience is a single year of AA, and I'd never played organized baseball. And so I must have been about 10. Okay. And so you go to like the city tryout thing where everybody's there and they test the skills. Never played organized baseball. I had no clue what I was doing. So I'm like, well, I just hope I get into AAA, because all I wanted was the pants with the stirrups. That was just like, that was it. That's all I cared about. I didn't. AA, it's still like T-shirts with whoever your sponsor is.
No.
Half the kids are playing in jeans, and I was like, that's fine. That's fine. Here's the best part: we lost every single game. And I was totally okay with it, because our sponsor was the West Salem Dairy Queen. And after every game, we got to go to Dairy Queen. We got a free sundae. And that's when they had the little major league batting caps. And they would sell the
Yep. I
Sundays
remember
in the
those.
batting
Yep.
caps. And it was like, and I wasn't into baseball, so I didn't even know who half the teams were. But I was just super stoked to be able to get a Dairy Queen sundae
That
for
is
free
awesome.
after losing a game, playing in my jeans. Didn't matter. Still fun. That's the extent of my baseball. And then from there on, it was all football and track for me.
Okay.
I'm curious. So like, what was the shift sort of in like mindset and attitude towards preparation, towards everything else from high school to college ball? Like I know, so I played football and
Okay.
I didn't want to pursue it in college, but I had a stack of letters. Actually, we talked, you're from San Luis Obispo. I had letters of interest from San Luis Obispo and from
Nice. Okay.
Cal Poly and all these places, right? And I just didn't. I was done. I was done with football.
Right.
But I also knew from friends that had preceded me that did go play. A friend went and played at Baylor and some other places and stuff. That it's serious, right? It's a very big step up in sort of mindset and approach to the sport. Not as fun as high school.
Right.
What was it like? What was it like baseball wise?
Yeah, baseball wise, I mean, I'll say when I was in high school, we kind of dealt with it first. Our head coach, I don't know how into baseball you are, but our head coach was Casey Candell. He played for the Indians for a few years. I think he was or is like the current Buffalo Bison's AAA for the Toronto Blue Jays head coach. He was for Seattle for a few years, actually, last few years, like their first base coach or something like that.
Okay.
But he how do I say this? His son and I guess his family grew up like a street away from me and randomly ran into them. And me and his son like grew up together. He was a year below me. And so when his son was up, he basically coached, our varsity team for like the 3 years that we were kind of like sophomore, junior, senior. And that was the first time that I kind of saw all the training behind it. I'm like, dude, it's baseball. Like, why are we like running stairs? Why are we like lifting all these weights? Like what, like you don't do any of that. Like it was the first time for me doing it. And I'm the first of my family, like the oldest. So like the oldest kid. So like I had no one above me saying like, oh, like this is what you have to do or kind of what to expect going up to there. And I first was like, wow, you're running up these stairs. Like I'm not telling anybody this. I'm just thinking it. Like, what are we doing? Like you don't have to run like 90 feet, maybe 180 at a time, like the first, second base, like, and then you get a break. Like I never really understood it. And then it just kept getting more intense when he came in and was kind of like drilling that into us because he played at Arizona. And I think his roommate at the time was Terry Francona. And so he made it to the pros. He knew what it was about. And then going to Hofstra, and also Cuesta pitchers. Like the one thing that I'll say, I hate running. Like I hate it. I'm just long distance. I can do short distance, not a problem, but like long distance, I mainly hate it because I'm terrible at it. There's like I don't know what it is. Just, I don't have it. Some people's just, they can walk out of bed and run a mile in like 4 minutes. And I'm like, I need to like prepare for like 2 to 3 months, eat healthy, like work my way up and do that. And I just did not have it. And with baseball, or at least for pitching, you have to run a lot, like get your lactic acid out, get in good shape, just so you can last longer and pitch, farther into games and stuff like that. And when I got to Hofstra, especially, we ran a ton. And that was something that was new to me. It definitely helped. And I noticed it my junior year. I was like, wow, if I just go to, and I think I did like 3 workouts a week that I go on my own to our gym and have our trainer set up like these HIIT workouts, high intensity workouts to keep my heart rate going consistently. And I would, for like maybe like a month or two, I just had like a stretch of just great games where I was just getting deeper into games. I just didn't feel as fatigued. So I saw what, the benefit of it, which was nice, but the preparation and stuff like that was just, I think it's harder for me to say that the preparation was like how that change was or transition was from high school to college in terms of a pitcher, because I wasn't a pitcher in high school compared to college was really the first time that I got into it. And that was what I knew. I didn't know what I didn't know. Compared to high school, it was like run like 10 poles or something like that, pole to pole, foul pole to foul pole after your starts. And that was pretty much it. Because everyone else played the field. We didn't have enough players just to have only pitchers and, only hitters and fielders. So I would just say the running was more intense. The running and workouts, like we had a strict trainer, not like our baseball coach that was our trainer. But that was cool.
Did you, so you played all the way through, right? Until you graduated, you played through to the end. Okay. So the point of my question really was sort of like a lot of people, like a lot of my friends that went and played college football, They make it 1 year, maybe 2 years, and they're just like, this is not what I signed up for. This is way different than I thought. It's not fun anymore.
Gotcha.
And so I was kind of curious if there's that sort of dynamic at play in college baseball, like there is in a lot of the other sports.
Yeah, I feel like more on the community college or, community college side of it, you see that more often. But at least for me, for baseball, I just never really felt like I got burnt out. The closest I ever got burnt out was, I think, my senior year. We had like a scrimmage right before our season, and I was just like over it. I was like, this is not as fun, because I was sitting out and all this stuff. And then the season started and it was fine. We only played like 20, 25 games. You're kind of looking forward to those. If I would have played every day in community college or Division I don't think I would have been able to have that energy every single day because of the grind. But the fact that I got to pitch once a week made it so much easier to be excited to play, because it's cool hanging out with a bunch of your friends, a bunch of your guys, rooting people on. We were all about like movie quotes in the dugout, just screaming them around, throwing things from, the other guys' movies, just random things, just to keep everyone like happy, laughing around, having a good time, until you were out to play. But for me, I didn't really have that issue. I think if I would have maybe lost a scholarship, I would have been like, yeah, I'm not gonna, like, that was like, literally, that was it. I had fun. I enjoyed it. But if there was no scholarship, I literally probably would have been like, I'm out of here. I'm
out. Yeah.
But
so your counterpart, Don Julio, and I'm going to call him Don Julio because that's the only thing I've ever heard you call him. And I don't know if he goes by other names, but Don Julio is a cool name. Also played college baseball. Did you guys meet in college baseball, or did you know each other from San Luis Obispo, or how did that start? How did you guys meet each other? Where did that come together?
Yeah, so it was like, I wouldn't say completely random, but my buddy who I mentioned, LeBron's earlier, who was one of my roommates at my community college, his best friend was Don Julio, and that's how I met him. I went back to my buddy's house, which is now technically where I live. I'm living in Central Valley, Madera, Fresno, California, and I visited him during one of the winter breaks, and I met Julio through LeBron's. They're best friends. They played baseball together. Julio, I think he went to Santa Clara University to start.
Yep.
And then I think
in Santa Clara, yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, actually,
I spent 7 years in the Bay Area. I didn't get to that point with you. And actually, the last couple of years, I lived out in the East Bay, so I've been down to Madera, Fresno, the whole area.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. So I guess
relatively familiar with it.
Okay, yeah. So I think he played there his freshman year because he transferred to, I think, Mission College, and I believe that's around Santa Clara area as well. Yep. I'm not really sure where the area is, but he pitched as well. And I don't know too much of the rest of his baseball journey besides that.
Yeah. So you met through a friend. It wasn't through like playing together or anything like that.
No.
I know, like, like I was telling you before we went on here, binging some of your old podcasts and stuff, and him talking about like all the no hitters that he threw. I think he said like 6 no hitters or whatever.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, I wish I would have had one.
Number.
That's awesome.
Some crazy number. I'm like, wow, okay, there you go. So who's his Major League Baseball comp?
Dude, I mean, he's a big Giants fan. He's a big San Francisco, big Giants fan. He's from the Bay Area and he lives up there right now. That's like, we do the podcast. I'm here, but he was here originally. But I guess he was from the Bay originally, came here for like 10, 15 years, went to high school and stuff like that, then went back up to the Bay and stayed there.
Yeah, I was never a baseball, like I think I told you this before we went on. Never a baseball fan, never into it or anything like that. When we moved to moved to the Bay Area, I went to school in the Bay Area. And my wife put me through school working. Bless her heart. Thank you, Sonia. Where she worked, they had season tickets to the Giants. And because of the hours that those guys worked, nobody was ever able to go. And so all season long, all 3 years of school, they were like, Mike, we got 4 tickets to every game. You just tell us when you want to go. And this is prime Barry Bonds.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right. So I was sitting there, and the tickets were like 15 rows up on the third baseline, out right, basically staring right at him.
Wow.
And so it was super fun. So you could yell stuff at him and he'd wave and, do his whole Barry Bonds thing or whatever.
That's awesome.
I never forget, I got to be there when he hit 700 and the place just exploded. It was super fun.
Wow.
Super fun. But that was like the extent of my baseball fandom, and it bled a little bit into the move back to Oregon, but it kind of petered out because you're not surrounded by it, and I didn't have
and you don't hear it all the time. Right, exactly.
Tickets.
And to be honest, like I love baseball, but I don't watch it that much. Like I don't I haven't touched a baseball in maybe like 8 years, like legitimately throwing a baseball like in like 8 years. And I get it, like for me to enjoy it, I have to be there and think about what they're thinking about and like what I would do and kind of game plan. But otherwise I'm just like, playoffs are cool, but regular season, I'm like,
I'm glad that I had the experience because
Right.
I've told
I'm
people
sure.
many times, if you give me the option for a relaxing fan experience for pro sports, there is nothing that beats baseball. It is better than NFL games. It's better than NHL. It's better than NBA. In my opinion, it's like the best experience.
Yeah.
And I had so much fun at those games. So
I will say that my best experience that I ever had at a baseball game, 2020, I think it was 2021. Was it 2021? I think it was 2020, 2021, whatever year it was, where they had they zip lined all the seats around you. So like if you bought tickets with like 4, they would zip tie the seats in front of you, to the left, the right, and behind you, so no one could be there.
that's cool.
And we were at a Dodger game watching, I think it was San Diego, maybe like 3-4 years ago. And there's no vendors going up and down the aisles, no one walking down the aisles. And it was the best because you could just put your feet up, sprawl, and just relax and not have to worry about people behind you. And I was like, man, I'm never going to get to experience this again.
Yeah.
Like how good you have, where no one's around you, but the fans are still there. But like, oh, it was amazing.
That's a good way to do it. This is funny. So we're like 25 minutes into a golf podcast, and we talk nothing but baseball. So let's switch gears a little bit. Let's get to golf. Okay. So how did you get started in the game? Because you said earlier that you played it a little bit as a kid, but you didn't want it to ruin your baseball swing.
Right.
And I have a question about that coming up too. But
So
tell me how you got into golf. Who got you into it? How'd you do it?
What was it? I know it was probably around, let's see, 2005 had to have been. It was Tiger Woods PGA Tour 2005. The first time that I really just like kind of tried to learn. That's how I learned golf, really. What the clubs were, the 9, the 8 irons, how far those go. They go shorter than the lower numbers to me, which was a little bit different. But it's kind of how I learned how to play. I'm trying to think. That was 2005. I was probably about 13, 14. So yeah, about 8th grade was probably when I got into that. I got that game, and then my dad gifted me a set, like a little starter set, when I was in 8th grade. And at my local course, it was called Dairy Creek course. They still have it open. It was 18 holes, but there was like a water issue, so now they shortened it just to 9. And there's still par 5s, par 4s, par 3s, but there's only the back 9 that you can play compared to the front 9, which is a bummer because I would love to play that whole course because I played it so much. And my 8th grade summer going into high school, at the time they had a $50 play card where it would connect to 3 different courses that we had. Their Morro Bay course, and then I think with Chalk Mountain and Tascadero. And you could play any of those courses if you were under 16 for $5 if you walked. And so I used that probably like 20 times over the summer because it's just $5. It's easy to say like, hey, mom and dad, I'll get out of your hair for 4+ hours. If you just give me $5 to let me play a golf course, and that's how I really got into it. And I loved it. It was so much fun. The course was great. I had a bunch of friends that were doing it too. And then I didn't play at all through high school. Again, baseball, I was actually hitting well. So I was like, I definitely don't want to mess up my swing or anything like that. And my clubs were 8th grade clubs compared to when I was finally starting to grow a little bit.
Yeah. You start to get stronger, bigger. It doesn't
exactly.
Fit. It doesn't fit.
Totally. Yeah. And they were graphite shafts. So it probably wouldn't have worked as well. Yeah, exactly. And then so after college, the first job that I had was working at a warehouse in a local golf shop. And the guy hired me. He actually played at Cuesta and was a pitcher as well. So that was the connection. I assume that was the only reason why I got the job because I had no experience in a warehouse. I had no experience at all. All I did for summers was play baseball.
Yeah.
So I literally had nothing on my resume. And so I'd get deals. I think I got the Big Bertha Alpha driver for like $300 instead of like $550 at the time because I got the cost price, and I built my bag up slowly. And then for me to actually move out to the Central Valley when I met my now wife, we were dating, and my parents were like, hey, like you can go out to the Valley, and pursue the relationship, but like you need to have a job. You can't just go out there with no job. Even with money saved, it's going to run out fast. Like you need to have a job to make us feel comfortable. So
she'll be less interested in you as well.
True. I'm fortunate that she's still with me here today.
Yeah.
But I went on a website, Roger Dunn. There are Roger Dunn shops on the West Coast up north as well. You guys have those shops as well?
I know the name.
It's
don't
like
remember.
Worldwide Golf Shops. It's like
Yeah.
one of the branches of them.
Yeah, and so I
Um,
think it's one of the branches that they have up here, but I don't think
Okay.
there's specifically the Roger Dunn
The
shop.
Roger Dunn, right? Okay. So there was a Roger Dunn out in the Central Valley, and I was like, "There's like, hey, if you are interested in a job, fill out this, thing. Let us know what skills you have." And at the time, I was cutting clubs, bending clubs, fitting people, and stuff like that. And I was like, let me just see if this is the only option, because I'm working all throughout the week and not many options to interview during the weekends. It's just not really available. Was able to lock in a job there, and that was what got me out to where I am now. And it was awesome because they were connected to all the country clubs. And so you just said, hey, just tell me what day you want to go play at any of the country clubs out. There's like 5 or 6 country clubs out here, and you got to play them all for free. So I got to experience that. And that's how I really got back into it.
Nice.
Getting all
That's
the
a
deals.
Good way to get hooked, like working in the
Yes.
industry and then like access to country clubs.
Right.
I want to kind of like connect the baseball and the golf thing. So you
Mhm.
always hear baseball swing in a negative golf context.
Right.
And like you said you didn't want to golf when you were into baseball because you didn't want to ruin your baseball swing.
Right.
And like I remember my dad didn't want to play church league softball because he didn't want to ruin his golf swing. And so do you agree with that? Do you agree that there's that much of a difference that you're going to ruin one swing over using the other? What's your take?
I mean, it's hard because again, I haven't swung a baseball bat in trying to play golf like consistently. I would say not as much as I thought. I really wouldn't say it wasn't as much as I thought, because I know like on baseball you try to stay on your back heel, and in golf you try to stay on your front foot. Like when you're throughout your golf swing. Traditionally, I know like driver, maybe you're hitting up on the ball a little different, but traditionally you want to keep that balance a little bit different. So I don't think it's as much of an issue. I know, what's his name, McNeil. There's a second baseman who had played for the New York Mets over the last few years. His last name is McNeil. Anyway, he was a stud golfer in Napomo, just north of Santa Maria. And I never played against him. Found out that he was a year below me. Played a senior year baseball once, just 1 year. Got a scholarship to Cal State Northridge, and then got drafted. Played golf leading up that whole way. And he's still playing golf while hitting as well, not having any issues or anything like that. And I'm like, okay, well, he's still hitting. I'm checking out his Instagram. He's playing professional baseball, making millions, where that is your income, and he's still golfing. I don't think it has as much of an effect. Obviously, to each their own. Everyone's a little bit different with how their athleticism is, how much they can change things up. But
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I wish I could say I'm the great example of like what it is, but
yeah.
I
think you touched on like kind of what my thinking is that they're both rotational. They're rotational sports, but really, like you said, it's center of gravity, and it's where the weight is supposed to be. Not that we always get the weight where it's supposed to be, but the weight where it's supposed to be is in different places. Otherwise, it's essentially the same thing, in my opinion. In my view.
Yeah, I agree.
And so I kind of with you. And I think that like when you talk about like whenever you watch the Pro-Am kind of stuff, and there's a baseball player, I forget who he was, but he was playing with like Tiger Woods' niece or whoever. And he was hitting absolute bombs.
Was it the lefty?
I think it might have been.
I think he was like
he's
a
big
Yankees
dude.
player, like a
Yes,
big
he's a
black
Yankees
dude,
player.
right?
Yes. He was
blanking on the
hitting
name.
just crazy bombs. And I think at that level of athleticism, right, your hand-eye coordination, if there's a slight variation, like he knows where his weight is, and he knows he's got to have a different weight shift. So maybe that's really kind of it, is like as amateurs, we're not kind of good enough to monitor and self-police ourselves to get that weight shift correct. And so that's what it does to us. But I was kind of curious, to someone who played as much baseball as you did and now plays as much golf, like what were your thoughts on that? And then is there anything else in baseball you think that translates to golf for you? It's competitive mindset, or sort of like controlling your nerves, or as a pitcher, right? You've got a sort of a tactical approach to pitching, I would assume. And do you take any of that into golf?
Yeah, I know. I think like 2 or 3 rounds ago that I played, and it was the first time that I'd ever been like nervous putting. It was like legit nerves. Like, oh my gosh, like if you don't get it within like 3 feet, like there's no chance that you're going to have to get it close or make it. And I was like, what the heck? I'd never had that in baseball. Even when I pitched, I was not nervous. It was just so new to me. And I feel like that's just because I put a lot of pressure on myself for that, in that sense of things. But I think when it comes to things that I use that I pitch with, it's probably like the flush it mentality. Because when you're a pitcher, last thing you can do is give up a home run and just be thinking about it during the next at bat, you know, because it'll leak into it. You leave something over the middle, you hit somebody, you're not paying attention or focus where you throw 4 balls. Golf is so easy to get into that mentality where it's like you par the first hole, you birdie the second hole, you triple bogey the third hole, and you're like, oh my gosh, here we go. And then
It's
like
over.
you double bogey. Yeah, exactly.
It's over.
The round was just amazing, and now it's
15
over. Like
more to go. It's over.
It's such a long way. Exactly. So I try to use that mentality. I watch a lot of Brian Bros golf. I'm not sure if you watch them.
They're the ones that have got me started into YouTube. So.
Oh, really? Yeah. I love watching them. And George is someone that I wish, like, I'm like, if I knew that dude, I feel like we get along really well, because like the way he talks and about positivity is huge, because golf is so hard in general, just for anybody. Like you call your penalties on yourself. Like you can't, move the ball. It's already such a hard game without moving the ball or taking gimmies or stuff like that, it's like, it's okay to like not be a pro. And then the one thing I would say that I've heard that I kind of try to convince myself of is I don't practice all the time, so I can't expect myself to be a PGA Tour player.
Yeah.
It's like saying like a weightlifter, a professional weightlifter, or someone works out once a month. They're like, well, why am I not buff? It's like, well, you only work out once a month. You can't really expect that. You can't really expect yourself to play as good as a pro when you barely play.
Yeah, we talked about running. We talked about running earlier, right? You can't expect yourself to go out and run a half marathon or something if you're not training for it. And I think that there's a lot of times, a lot of people that get so angry on the golf course, it drives me nuts, because it's so obvious. It's like your expectations do not meet your preparation at all.
Yeah,
right?
No, 100%.
And it's not even really about practice, because I don't really practice anymore at all. We joined a club. We're on our second club now. We were in one for 2 years, and now we just finished our second year at the second club. So 4 years in a club.
Okay.
And I play tons. Tons and tons. So that is my practice.
Yeah, no, that's nice. If you can have that, I mean, I feel like that is just as good as practice. If you're out on the course, you're learning.
And I would say the one thing that has really made my game improve is that expectations in alignment with how good I know I can play and how I know my average game is, and knowing when, like, hey, that's a good shot for me, I'm going to take that, and not getting upset, not melting down over it. Right. It just doesn't help you through those next 15 holes. Right. After you shoot the triple.
No, it's so hard sometimes, but yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So what's the current, sort of give me the current status of your game? What's your handicap? What do you think is kind of the strength of your game?
Yeah. I feel like it changes week to week, at least with the strength of my game. When it comes to handicap, I just finally gave myself a handicap, and by that, like, paid the NCGA or USGA or whatever it is to create a GIN for the first time. I kind of kept track, and it'd been maybe around anywhere from like 5 to 7, but like I never really had an actual like GIN. And
speaking of expectations, right? So when you get the official number, so I had like thought I had done the math before, and then when I finally got it, I'm like, oh, that was different than I thought it was going to be. So what was your number? Like, I don't care if you tell me the number, but like, did your expectation of what you thought it was, did it line up with what the GIN actually told you are?
Yeah, I mean, let me look at it, because I think it was like around. So I'm trying to think of what rounds I used. Because I don't play that all. I think I try to play once a month. I would love to play more than that, but it's just not possible with my wife, me, the kids right now. I get out to the range at least once a week, so I can at least practice somewhat, get something out of the way, right? And my neighbor across the street.
Yeah, you got a neighbor with the sim. So
exactly. And he's been huge as well. So that's nice. But I think originally it was like a 4.5 that it gave me. That was like when it was the first 54 holes that I inputted. Yeah. And then ever since then, it's just been creeping up. I haven't been playing to that level, which was like 79, 80, 79. I shot an 85 this Monday. And that was on an 83 par 83 course. So I haven't done too good there, but it's now 7.5.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me just to be like, input the scores, even if I don't do good, you know, because like I wanted a handicap to see what it is. But at the same time, it's like when you don't do good, you're like, dang it, man, I don't want people to see that. I don't want people to see that.
Keep it legit. Keep it legit, right?
So yeah, right now I'm at a 7.5.
Yeah, so you look bad. You look bad as a sandbagger. You look bad as a vanity cap. So just keep it legit, and people be
right.
Like, yeah, it's legit.
Exactly. So that's what I'm trying to do. So yeah, as a legit handicap, right now it's a 7.5. I'd say the strongest point in my game that always stays consistent is my power. And to me, I don't feel like I have power. Like to me, like I don't think it's like amazing because I play with Don Julio, and if you watch that guy hit a ball, like you're like, holy smokes, man!
Yeah.
Like, but when I play with other people, they're like, wow, you hit it far, and I'm like, yeah, but like if you don't have a good short game, like it doesn't mean anything. And half the time I'm playing, I don't have a good short game, so it doesn't back it up. Like I can hit it far, but if you get in as many times as I do or less, like it doesn't matter. I've been working a lot on my putting over the last few weeks, and that has gotten a lot better, thankfully. But the last round that I was in, it was my short game. I was just thinning everything off of the green, and I was like not even putting it on the green, just thinning it past the green, like into the bunkers. And I'm like, no, like, but I would definitely say that the power aspect of it, and I'm still trying to figure that out as well, because my irons, I play with a Voda, and the lofts are a little different than the traditional like lofts for, you know, your 9 pitching wedge and stuff like that. And I try to do gapping sessions and I try to figure things out, but I feel like it's so inconsistent where it's like one day my pitching wedge is like 150, one day it's 170. And I'm like, when it's 170, you're like, okay, that's not good. Like you have a number in mind and like you're not doing anything crazy.
Actually, that gets to like the next question that I had, or sort of like bucket here, was like, my question was, are you guys gearheads? And I didn't know if Don Julio was going to be on gearheads. And then I nod to baseball. I said, not Balco, not the clear and the cream, but equipment wise. And so you kind of raised the point there. Like you play the Avoda irons, which are sort of, they're newer on the market. Actually, let's go real quick. So Mark asked, how did he cure his baseball swing for golf? I don't know that. I think the answer there was that you didn't cure. Like there wasn't.
Yeah, not too much. I think if anything, because I hadn't really swung a baseball bat consistently for probably when I got back into golf, at least. So actually, let me say this really quick. So when I started working in the golf industry, this is probably like 2014, 2015. I did that for a little bit and then I stopped. I wasn't getting hours and I wasn't making money. So I had to like kind of pivot to something else. And when I did that, I stopped golfing until 2020. So about 6 years, I didn't golf. And then 2020 hit and I was like, I need to do something outside. Like I'm losing it where everyone's trapped, COVID, everything. And it was the only thing. I had golf clubs that basically were new because they were like maybe 6 years old, but like I haven't used them. So like they're still like in great condition. So I was like, let's play, let's try things out. And then I just got the itch, like, and it just hasn't left since. And again, I haven't swung a baseball bat legitimately in probably like a decade. And because of that, I feel like I just had the chicken elbow. That was my issue with my swing. I always love recording myself to kind of like
the little
see what
flying
I'm
elbow
doing.
out there.
Exactly. Just
like
leave it
in the backswing, get that thing.
No, in the front. No, on the front. On the
got
front,
it,
like
got it.
coming out like this. Yeah.
Yep. Got it.
That was my biggest issue. And I hated just watching a video of me swing a golf club. And like, even if it was a good shot where it landed, it just did not look pretty. So literally for the last like 3.5, 4 years, I've been trying to get rid of that chicken elbow. And I finally did. No coaches. I did it on my own. I randomly one day, I'm like, hey, let's try this. I'm like, oh my gosh. I could live with seeing that swing on YouTube. I could do that now. I don't have to like worry about people in the comments being like, "Oh my gosh!"
You
like
suck.
If you watch Rig swing, like on Barstool, all the haters.
Yeah. You suck. It's video is so humbling. You had mentioned earlier when you were working in the golf industry, right? I think you had said fitting and bending and cutting and all that stuff. Do you still do that on your own gear?
I don't have the equipment. I don't have anything like that. And I haven't done it in probably like a decade. So I got a buddy who I trust with that stuff. So,
okay. So, well, I want to move on to, sort of channel podcast category here of questions. Because I think it's kind of interesting the way that you're doing it. One, the first question I want to start with is which really sort of came first, because you do a lot of podcasts. You do a ton of podcasts. You have like 100 plus episodes, right?
Oh yeah.
Or actually I think you're closing in on 200 or 150 or something.
We're over. I know we're over 100. I know we're over that.
I thought I saw 130 something, 140 something. But
It might be.
which came first, and sort of what was the concept behind starting it?
Mhm.
And how did you connect that with Don Julio?
Yeah. So when I moved out to the Valley about a decade ago, excuse me, I think at the time I just got an Instagram and Julio followed me and like we followed back and forth. And he worked at Golfsmith. He had been working in the golf industry a lot longer than I had. He actually worked at a few country clubs and stuff like that. So he's golfing all the time. And he saw one day that I went golfing with now my wife's. This might be a little long, but my wife's cousin's husband. So I went golfing with him to get back into it in 2020. I was like, and I posted about it. And he goes, "Hey, you golf? Like, we got to go golfing sometime." But at the time, he was still living in the Bay Area, but his family was in Fresno. And so I was like, "Yeah, next time you're out, just let me know. We'll go golfing." And so then this was like 2020. So we went golfing a few times. He would just drive out here and golf. And the guy's insane. I love him, but he's insane. He'll drive like 3+ hours, get around in, and then just drive right back home 3+ hours. And I'm like, there's no way I can get that away from my wife. Like I can't get that time away, like enough time at the course at all. But I'm so grateful for like him being able to travel and stuff like that. So that went on for a few years and we kind of connected through golf that way. And then I had a son, he had a daughter. And right when you're in the thick of it, like you feel like, you're not getting out much. You're not really talking to really much to anybody else. You're trying to sleep, trying to survive, the first few weeks of, being a parent.
Keep them alive.
Exactly. And I was like, I've been so into golf because I think it was 2020, end of 2023 or 2020, I think end of 2022 that we started a podcast. And I was like reaching out to him like, "Hey, like, would you be down doing a podcast?" Like I've been watching Bob Does Sports. They had a podcast. There were a lot of these other podcasts that were kind of popping up. And I'm like, it doesn't have to be anything that gets big. It's just a way for us to like connect, connect, talk sports with someone that you have a designated time that you can talk sports with. Oh, sorry, my light gave out.
I'm waiting for mine to die, but
really, dang it. And so I was like, "Would you like to do one?" He's like, "Yeah, sure, that'd be cool." I'm like, "We can do golf. We can talk about sports as well. It doesn't matter." And then so for about like a week, I was just trying to think of like a logo. I was trying to think of like a name, just something so at least we can attach it to something and like post it some places. And I just came up with Fore Dads, just FORE dads, nothing fancy. And I was like, that sounds kind of cool. Looked online, didn't really see anything with it. I was like, okay, I think we can use that name. And originally, a few months prior, we were trying to create an app actually for golf where you could, put money into it, where you're playing people on, let's say, what is it? When you're playing a skins match. And let's say nothing's worse than you're playing a skins match, you dominate someone, and they're like, "Oh, dude, I don't know if I can pay you. Sorry, like." They're like, "Dude, we played like the whole round, like me thinking you're going to pay me and you didn't." So we kind of figured we could create an app that you could put your money in the beginning, knowing that you're going to get paid out and work that route. And I came up with logos. I love just like messing around with like,
on the creative side,
designer side of things and things like that. And I did a spoof of In and Out, but like with up and down. And we were almost going to create an app, and then that fell through. And then that's when this thing kind of came through again. And so we just started talking with that. And I think a few months into it, he's like, "Hey, I'm going to be in town. Do you want to get a golf round?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Let's record it as well." And I was like, "Okay, well, now we can post it on YouTube." And I'm like, "Well, we can't be Fore Dads podcast. It needs to just be like golf or something like that." So that's kind of how that came. So definitely the podcast was at least a few months before the podcast came. And then it is what it is.
Do you still sort of view yourselves as more of a podcast than a YouTube channel?
I would definitely say so, just because there's not as much content on the in real life golf side of things. Because again, I'm limited. He plays all the time, and he gets so nervous about putting out a GoPro or whatever when he's playing his skins matches and stuff like that. If we had, and I get that, I get it to an extent. Don't get me wrong, I get it. But like with how often he plays, he needs to put out a camera once every 4 rounds. And this guy would still like triple me in the amount of footage that we can actually put on our YouTube channel, which is awesome because I put on full rounds because I just suck it up and bite the bullet and do it myself. Not a problem. I would definitely say we're more of podcast because we're more consistent on that basis, because we can both get together. I can push it out quicker and we can do more a weekly thing. So sure.
How do you sort of navigate sharing the channel, sharing the podcast, solo rounds, editing, I know like his last video that Don Julio did was Pasatiempo. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome course, awesome
Yeah.
video. He plays great.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm assuming it's like you're just saying, okay, like I know if the times that I've given other people the camera and said, can you record this shot? It's always almost completely unusable. And so I have like this trust issue. So how do you guys navigate that? Like being so far separate physically and but trying to do this joint thing.
So just joint thing, like I take it over. I do all of our social media. I think there's maybe a few posts that he's done on like TikTok or Instagram. I think he has the password for Instagram, so he can post like when he wants to.
Yeah.
But yes, I totally understand that portion of it when you give someone the camera, especially when he'll send me things. He's like, look at this shot that I had. And it like cuts off right before the ball hits the green. And
Yes,
he's like, this is a great shot. I'm like,
that's the best.
I'm like, no, like that's not going to help me at all. Like when
I'm with
people,
the ball flights behind him. Right?
Yes.
It's the
right.
framing's all wrong.
You're like, yeah. And so he's definitely more new to it. I know one of our rounds we played at Carmel Valley Ranch, I think it was last year. I beat him, and I don't think I should have beat him with how good he is.
By the way.
Thank you. But he, at the end of it, he was like, dude, I played so bad, but I feel like it was because I wasn't able to focus on my shots. I was golf, and then camera, and then golf, and then recording, and then getting the shot. And he's just like, I'm not used to that. And I'm like, yeah, well, it's what I do all the time when I golf. So I am more used to it. And so like, you'll notice, at least on my shots, like, don't get me wrong, I love Julio, and he's just not used to it. So that's why. Like I'm constantly behind there. I know what to do, know what to look for. And when I'm watching other YouTube videos, I try to pick up stuff from what they do as well onto mine. And some of them he'll cut it off. At least for our first few times we played, he would cut it off. And I'm like, dude, let it roll. I know you want to like put it down and say something, but like let it roll and then say something. Like you don't have to like, we need that banter back and forth because that's like what kind of keeps it entertaining. Otherwise it's pretty dull. You're just watching two random people play golf that you don't have any connection with. And he's gotten better. He's definitely gotten better. But I think it was our video that we did, the T-flip challenge. No, I think it was T-flip challenge. And we were with two other guys, my buddy LeBron's that I met Don Julio with, and another one of our buddies, Corey. And Corey recorded one of my drives. And it was like the best drive that I had all day. And I even included after because he turns the camera back on. And I'm just like, heated with him because I heard it turn off when the ball was in the air.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, like that was the best shot that I had and you cut it off. And he's like, dude, I'm sorry. I'm like I can't get mad at him because he's not used to doing that. But at the same time, I'm just irritated a little bit. And I've taken out my neighbor, who I'm going to say keep using Ice. He doesn't like me using his real name just in case anything ever gets out, anything big. But same thing. He's not used to it. He tries, but I completely get that. It's hard on that end, but for the Pasatiempo and things like that, he actually sent me the footage. He recorded that on his own.
That one turned out great. I thought that one turned out pretty darn good.
I was impressed because that's not easy,
the lighting was beautiful, right? But it is, if you're not, I think some of the issues that you raise, like cutting a shot off or not framing it correctly, or all that kind of stuff is the kind of stuff that you learn if you're actually the one editing the video.
Right.
And so you almost like, okay, I'm going to give you a little bit of a pass on this and I'll just remind you again not to do this. I had an assistant pro run out of a golf shop one time and say, let me record your shot on the tee box. I was on the 10th tee. And I'm like, okay. And he did exactly what we talked about. He's like, well, you really should be recording from directly behind you at hand level, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, I actually shouldn't because I'm not trying to do a swing fix video. This is something completely different. Yeah. And I appreciate what you're trying to do. And then he cut it off. I hit a great drive and he cut it off before it landed, just like you're talking about. And I was like, okay, whatever. Whatever. I guess that's fine. That's fine. But I guess the podcast thing works, right? Because we're doing this. I'm in Oregon. You're in California.
Yep.
The distance isn't an issue when it comes to the podcasting, and that works for you guys. Yeah. So that's actually pretty cool. I went through as I'm binge watching your videos, your most watched videos, right? So. Tons of like your video game. What is it?
PGA Tour 2K.
Yeah, 2K. Have you started a different channel that's just PGA Tour 2K?
No. So the whole thing about that is last year College Football 25 came out for the first time ever in like a decade. It was like the old NCAA football that I grew up with playing every single year. That's my favorite video game. I randomly started getting into that. Not randomly, but like creating videos. I started learning how to do it, and I started doing little tutorial videos, and those started popping off on my other channel that I have. And I was like, oh, okay, that like people love learning, learning how to get better, learning how to like little things. So I was like when the new PGA Tour was coming out, I was like, you know what? If I just show people how to do some things or whatever, we need views to get monetized and we need watch time, it's a lot easier to sit down for 30 minutes, record a video game at my home, edit that. It's so much easier because you don't have to add the shot tracers there to come in the game, and all this stuff. And it was so much easier, the quicker turnaround for editing, that I was like, hey, like it's golf related. It's all golf. And me and Julio, we actually have one of our podcasts that we played head to head while trying to talk through the podcast. It was a lot harder than I expected because I was focusing a lot more on my shots than actually the podcast. But we streamed it while like actually recording kind of this kind of thing. It was kind of cool. So I was like, let me just add this on there because I know it's going to gain a bunch of views. And that's what we needed to reach that, 5,000 hours or whatever you need to get monetized on YouTube. And it did help us get over the hump, which was huge. But that's really the only reason why I did that was, one, it's golf. And two, I knew we needed some views and something extra because what we were doing currently, don't get me wrong, I love doing this as a hobby. But of course, when you can make more money from it and also use that money to make things better, whether it's get a better camera, get better golf equipment, things like that help, it makes it even more fun because you're more excited to see how everything's going to work.
It's growth.
Exactly.
It's growth. Did you, so I've always had this, I've kind of, you've seen it in the Discord, right? Guys trying different things and having a lot of success with it, but maybe it's different stuff than what they had intended to do.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there was a trade-off with doing some of those videos? Because now you're getting more of a gamer that's watching your stuff. Is there a trade-off there? Because it doesn't translate to maybe the stuff that you want to do? Because I've kind of wrestled with this a little bit. I've been very stubborn about just doing what I want to do.
Right.
And not doing some of the things that I see working for other people that are not way because they're golf related, but they're out of my lane. They're not something that I'm interested in. I don't watch that stuff and I don't want, so I don't really want to do it.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that you've made any sort of a trade-off there?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I haven't really been paying attention too much tightly to the analytics, since, I don't know, maybe August, September. I'll check it every day, just see how everything's going, but I won't look specifically at what video is doing better, what's getting the most views and pulling that in, who's staying as subscribers. But I feel that I think a few days ago, I actually got a comment from one of the golf 2K videos, hey, they messed up the swing thing by this. So people are still viewing it, which is nice. But and honestly, I actually was just thinking I might actually stream something within the next month or two. Have you ever seen the Break 50 series from Bryson?
Yeah. Yep.
So they obviously are playing real golf, and that's tough to do. Even if you're too pros to break 50, it's just almost impossible.
Yeah.
I was just messing around on the 2K video game a few weeks ago, doing a 2-man scramble again, just with my created characters from the front tees. And I got to 43. I shot a 43, and I'm like, if I could break 40, that could be a really interesting video. It's near impossible because you have to hit I don't know how many eagles you have to have, but it's just insane. But it's and you can also play a lot of courses that you can't play at realistically. Did you hear about the golfer? Had to been a few years ago. There's a guy on the Corn Ferry Tour that would play PGA Tour 2K to learn about the tournament the courses.
Yep.
And it's amazing how realistic it is. They don't allow the Masters, Augusta National, because of licensing, and people still create it to a T. And you're just the amount of hours that it takes to do
just
that.
to do that, yeah,
it's
that's dedication.
Insane. Realistic
golfers are crazy, right?
They are. So
crazy.
I don't think I've seen too much of a trade-off. But at the same time, we're getting what we needed. We needed the views and we needed the watch time. And I'm still probably going to put out things eventually. I actually just started getting back into it now that it's getting cold and raining, where I can't get out as much as I want to. I still want to somehow stay connected with golf. And I hit really well in 2K. I don't have to worry about my short game. I'm a great putter. I got some good distance,
I'm a great digital putter. It's the best.
Exactly.
So speaking of getting back into it or whatever, do you have any sort of channel goals that you've set for yourself or for the podcast that you guys have set for yourselves for 2026?
2026. We haven't really talked about it too much. I know Don Julio wants to do a little bit more with our branding, and nothing's really come about that, so I won't really speak on it yet because I don't want to speak too soon about what he's interested in and what he wants to do. But I know there's some goals on his end, that side. I ultimately would just like to just keep golfing, golf more, and be able to pay somebody to record me. Pay somebody or whatever. I actually, what was it, a few months ago, I tried to go on Craigslist to create like a posting to see if anyone would just try to, anyone that was in like the film industry wanted to just try it out, like record me just for no fee at all, just like do it just for fun, hanging out with the guys or whatever. And I come to find out that I haven't been on Craigslist in like a decade, but now you got to pay to like post stuff now. And I'm like, I'm not gonna like.
That's not the forum to post for that kind of job. Go to Fiverr. Go to Fiverr.
Okay.
And I can say like afterwards. Just Google it. But that's like sort of like the creative. So it's for like contracted, contract creative, right?
Okay.
Basically is what it is.
Okay.
And you probably will find some folks that would be willing to take you up on that.
Yeah.
But that's what I would advise that you do.
Okay.
And I think we all dream of having somebody do that.
Yeah, because I mean, like, I could do the editing. I'm not worried about that. I know Don Julio reached out to someone a few months ago about like the whole, hey, if you guys like record and like edit all of our videos, and they're like, yeah, it'll be like $8,000.
I've had,
it's like,
what? They bomb my email. Anytime I post a new video, they bomb them.
The inbox with man. I'm like,
not worth it. I actually enjoy the editing part. That's fun for me.
It is.
People complain about doing the shot tracers and that's tedious and stuff, but it's actually kind of fun. It's fun for me. The part that's not so much fun, it's a little less fun, is the actual recording on the course, because it takes away from what you're doing or what you're trying to do on the course in the moment. I agree. And so that would be the part that I would love to farm out to somebody.
I would love to experience what it's like to play on a golf course without recording. I think I've recorded myself in every round. The only one round I didn't was it was a 4-man scramble where I was like, there's just no reason to do that. But like,
I told you before, I play a lot, and I think I counted my rounds from 2025.
I saw that number. I was like, oh my gosh.
I'm up there in the 130s, right? And I think I may have posted like 25 rounds. So I'm not posting. I'm recording, 1 out of every 10 rounds or something, some crazy number like that, because it's just, I want to get out and play. I play for a different reason than to just record.
Right.
But I do want to farm that part out. That would be really fun. So
I think I really got into it mainly just to be like, hey, if I ever get a hole in one, I want to make sure I can record it,
Yeah.
And it's never happened.
Ace Cam is live.
Yeah,
exactly. Here we go.
And the fact that I've recorded has probably been the reason why I haven't gotten a hole in one.
I think so. I think so. It's going to happen when I don't have,
right. It always does. Always does.
I'm totally fine with that. But look, Teets, it's been an hour. I told you I tried to keep it to about an hour here, and I know hopefully you haven't had any kid emergencies happening off camera.
Good. We're great. Thank you for being patient with me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, not a problem. I've been there, I've done that. 2 daughters, grown and raised and on their own, and it's all great. It's the best job in the world. I want to finish with this, right? Baseball background. Let's play Pepper.
Okay.
Quick answer, rapid fire questions. Okay, so here it is. Guaranteed 5 years in MLB or PGA, which are you choosing?
Man, I would definitely take the MLB because you get guaranteed contracts and a lot more money, and then I can golf after that.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Now this one, I wrote it out, and it's going to be different now because of our conversation before, and kind of, I know you're a Guardians fan, but I wrote it out as Giants, A's, Dodgers, Angels, Padres in order of your fandom. I know you're going to say Giants last.
I can still do that. Yeah, so I definitely go Dodgers, number 1, number 2, A's, number 3. Man, where are the other teams? San Diego,
Angels,
right?
Yeah, you got
Angels. Angels. That's right. Yeah, Angels.
Angels and Padres.
I love the new San Diego jerseys. Oh, dope. I love the retro, like the brown. 3, and then Angels 4. I don't really have much against them. I've been to a few Angels games. Beautiful stadium, beautiful area, and then 5 definitely Giants.
Okay, I forgive you. Okay,
and that's the only stadium though I haven't been to.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Quick side story. I'll make it as brief as possible.
Yeah, no.
I met my wife in September and October. The Giants had made it to the World Series that year versus the Royals. Yep. And my father-in-law, his he owns his own business, and one of his assistants is a diehard like San Francisco 49ers, Giants. They always bash heads with. He always gives her a hard time for that because they're big like LA, San Francisco.
Yeah.
But she made a bet with him where she's like, hey, like if the Giants clinch tonight, like you got to buy me tickets and we got to go see a World Series game. And he was like, okay, fine, deal. They clinched. I got a text from my now wife girlfriend that I've only known for a month at the time. She's like, hey, we're going to the World Series. And I'm like, no way, really? They're like, you're going to like, I'm like, I'm really going to get a ticket to go to the World. Like, this isn't just like a regular game. Like, this is a World Series,
World Series
this is a big deal. And so she's like, yeah, like my dad bought the tickets. Like he said, you can come. And then so sweet. And we were long distance at the time. And so when I actually went over there for the weekend to go to the game, she's like, hey, like, I'm sorry, I got some bad news. Like my dad gave your ticket away. And I'm like, no way. Like, okay, that's fine. Like it kind of sucks, because I was expecting to go. My wife's still going, but like now what's going on? And he's like, and he actually gave it to his other assistant because she apparently felt bad or he felt guilty that she wasn't going to go. But this girl couldn't tell you baseball from football, like just had no idea about sports. And so we go to the game. I still go with them. They gave me like $200 and I just went to a bar like right outside the stadium. And I was just drinking with them and having a great time at the bar, making friends. But I was right there, really
awesome.
close to being able to go to my first Giants game, which would have been a World Series, but it's the only stadium that I haven't been to yet.
Yeah, it's a good one. Okay, so next question here. No, not that's a good story. So this is to fill out a foursome. You get a comedian, a musician, and a Hall of Fame athlete. Who fills out your foursome?
Oh man, comedian. Let's see who I've been watching. Oh, I'd love to take Nate Bargatze out there. He would be. I would love it. So let's see, musician.
So you got Nate, musician, and a Hall of Fame athlete.
Oh, I gotta look at what I'm listening to now. Like I don't listen to like what do you call it, like the radio as much anymore. It's just like what I've listened to growing up. Music. I guess Bon Jovi would be pretty cool. Me and my dad are big Bon Jovi fans.
Yeah.
And then you said Hall of Fame player, right?
Hall of Fame athlete.
Hall of Fame athlete. I think Ken Griffey Jr. would be awesome.
That's a good
call. He's been the only player that I've had a favorite player. I'm one of those weird people that I don't have a favorite player. Just like, but as a kid, he was my favorite player, and that's like really the only favorite player like I've really ever had. I'm really weird about that, but I think Ken Griffey Jr. would be a lot of fun.
That's cool. That would be a good pick. Okay, so going on to YouTube guests, I'm going to give you three names. You have to choose one as your YouTube guest: Melosi, Page, or the Duke.
Man, I would just do Melosi just because of connections to Good, and him being a big name already, helping me, helping us push us up a little bit. I think the Duke would be a fun time to talk with, 100%. And I still can't believe that they let him go to the Internet Invitational. When I saw him on the list, I was like, no way is that the guy from Bob's like random reel that he posted playing with this random dude. But yeah, I think Melosi would be fun. I would not have to. I would try not to talk about the rangefinder, but I'm sure it would come up at some point.
It would come up at some point. A joke. Okay, so here's the tee shot you have to hit: Sunday at Sawgrass 17, or TPC Scottsdale 16.
Oh, 16. TPC all day.
Okay,
all day.
Shirt
all
coming
day.
off on the green.
Yeah, if I hole in one, there might be more than a shirt coming off. But for sure.
Okay, next one: Uncrustable, grape or strawberry?
Oh, that's a good call. Honestly, it depends on how much I've had lately. If I had too much of the other, I'll go to the opposite side. I love good strawberry. I love a good grape, and that was honestly one of the snacks that we always had at Hofstra, like during games, and I'd be eating those things all day. I'd say strawberry just because I have that a lot. I love strawberry. Let's just go strawberry. Okay, I talk too much. Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's a podcast. Right? Okay, so next one, Bob does sports or no laying up? Two totally different vibes.
Man, I definitely go Bob does sports, because the vibes are always high there. Nothing against no laying up. I just haven't watched much of their stuff. And I know a lot of the because I watch them all the time. I know a lot more of the Bob does sports guys.
Yeah. Okay. Bandon or Pebble?
I would if it's perfect weather for both, I would probably pick Bandon, because I feel like from all the videos that I see in Bandon, it's either horrible weather, whether it's snow, whether it's rain, whether it's wind, or it's like perfect. But like you see, like the more the viral stuff is the ones where they're playing in like terrible weather that they, signed up for like a year in advance. And that's like my only thing where like, if I knew what the weather was going to be like, I would have no issue flying up there, playing the round, because the course looks beautiful. But you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to get crazy good weather at Pebble Beach either. Like, Monterey is probably one of the most, in my opinion, overrated like towns. Like, I don't get the vibe. The last time we were there was the best weather I've ever experienced in my whole life. But besides that, it'll be in the summer and it'll be like 55 degrees. We were at the Pebble Beach Pro-Am 2023, and that was the year where they had to stop the play because it was too windy, because like balls were rolling off the green. And we were literally there on that Saturday, and it was like, we were there waiting on the 18th hole, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, the round's been canceled for the rest of the day. You guys can come back tomorrow if you want." But like, it's like, what the heck? But I would love to play Pebble. I mean, just playing that course a bunch on Tiger Woods PGA Tour. Walking it now, actually getting to walk was pretty cool. Again, if it's perfect weather, I'd probably pick Bandon just because it's farther away, and I don't have much of a chance to do that often. Yeah. But Monterey is about 2.5 hours for me, so I can drive there.
So I've you know, we talk about the tickets that I had access to right in school for the Giants game. I also got tickets to, it was Walmart First Tee. I think it's called the Walmart First Tee Open, and it was with the Champions Tour at Pebble Beach. And I got like some pretty sweet VIP tickets for that. And so one of my golfing buddies from school, we went down, he drove and I had the tickets. And so we followed, the threesome was Tom Watson, Gary Player, and I'm trying to remember who the third person was, but it was like sort of an all-timer kind of threesome. That's awesome. And we followed them from the first tee the whole way. We watched all of Pebble with those guys, and it was so much fun. And they were so engaging with the crowd and everything, because it's just a totally different vibe. And they know they're not in it. You know, they're like they are the seniors of the senior tour, and so they're not really in it. They're just out there as ambassadors and stuff. And it was cool. But I honestly would still pick Bandon. Okay. And I've played Bandon many times, but I would go that. So 2 more. Blade or mallet?
I guess mallet. I mean,
do you play mallet now?
I play mallet. Yeah, I started with I didn't start with, but like my first like legit putter was a Scotty Cameron that was traded in at my Roger Dunn shop, and I'm like, yo, I'm gonna get this now for cost plus 10% for how much we got this for. I'm not spending $300 for this thing, you know. Stock up. So I had a blade. I think it was like one of the Newports. Loved it, and then sold it like a decade later, and then got another Newport, and then I got the Phantom X. And with the Phantom X, like, I'd never putted better in my life. Like, I'd gotten so many birdies, whether that was just me playing more, probably is a combination of things. But now I have the Lab Oz 1i. Okay. And I love that. So I would definitely say mallet. I got nothing against the blades, but I would probably just go mallet for the time being.
Yeah, it just fits you.
They're both pretty. They're both pretty. You know, like, it depends on the putter, but yeah.
I'm a traditionalist. I love the mallet, but okay. So here's the last one. This is going to require a little bit of thought, but this ties it all together. Okay. So for every year from now on that you don't get to scratch, you have to have another kid. How many kids are you having?
Oh boy.
What'd you say you were at? You said you were at.
I'm a 7.5.
7.5. Okay. So you got seven and a half strokes to make up. Wow. How many kids?
So let's say, like, for example,
you have two now.
Yes,
right?
I have 2 now. Okay. So that means, like, if, let's say I'm 34 right now, if I say 40, that means I'll have 6 more kids, so 8 total, right? Is that what that's like what it would be? Okay.
That means you're moving from you're actually blowing right past minivan and going straight to the 15 passenger.
Oh my gosh,
sister wives.
Right. Right. Oh man. I would probably say average human lives what, like 92, 88, 90 years. I'd say whatever the end of my lifespan would be, because I don't think I'll ever get scratched.
Yeah, the odds go down as you get older. Right. It's tougher and tougher.
Right. Realistically, maybe like 45. I'd say 45, 50, just because I might be able to play more because kids are older and stuff like that. Let's just say 50. So what's that? 18 kids?
That's 18 kids.
No, I didn't need a new house.
Like founding fathers family size right there.
Right.
Good deal. Well, Teeds, look, it's been really fun. It's been fun interacting with you on the Discord as well. And thank you to the people that showed up in the chat, and the folks that are asking questions and stuff in the chat. Thank you to you guys. If you're not subscribed to Fore Dads Golf, both podcast and YouTube, and their podcast is available on Spotify, Apple, on iTunes, and all the different platforms, right?
Yeah.
So definitely subscribe to them and hear Teeds and Don Julio. What is it? Weekly? Are you? roughly
Yeah, we're doing
shoot for
weekly.
weekly?
We
Yep.
took a winter break for a little bit.
Okay, that's what I
After the
noticed that.
Internet Invitational. That was probably like the best podcast that we ever had. But we start taking a break just until kind of things start kind of heating back up a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Get the
usually
season started.
weekly.
Yeah.
Usually
cool.
weekly. Yeah.
Cool. Well, give them a subscribe. Subscribe to Mike Golfs Oregon. I'll be back again talking to other creators throughout the year. I have a lot of these planned. Look forward to doing it. And I really appreciate the subscribe, the like, the comments, all of that stuff. It's really fun to interact. And thank you again to Teeds. Hopefully we get you back on again and bring Don Julio so he can spill the tea on you and you can spill the tea on him. And we have a good time with it. So thank you again for joining me tonight, and have a good evening.
Thank you. Yeah. Take care. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.